Hello everyone, Wade from High-Tech Legion here, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Thermaltake Urban T81 full tower case. It is a very large case that you can fit just about anything in. It is designed to be flexible so that you can put lots of water cooling in. There's spots for radiators or extra fans depending on which way you want to go. The fact of the matter is, it's so big. I have my 5-year-old daughter here, and I could almost fit her right inside here if I didn't already have my components in. See, look, she could sit inside this case just about. I think that's pretty funny, and that's pretty big. So let's take a closer look at the case itself. I'll show you the build in it and how the hard drives install and everything like that, and we'll talk about some of the features.
High-Tech Legion, hardware and software reviews. Gaming, gadgets, and mobile. Plus, a ton of opinions. Subscribe now.
So as you guys can see, this is a really big case, considering that I can fit my 5-year-old almost in the thing. You can fit just about anything you want. You do have these suicide doors for the covers on the side panel, which is really nice. And this side panel with the window comes off very easily. It's on hinges right here, and you can just push it back and lift it right off for when you're working in the case. This side on the right does not come off very easily. You have to unscrew the hinges themselves. However, you really don't need to take it off for when you're working on it. The hard drive bays are right here. You've got support for 2.5-inch and 3.5-inch drives. They do screw into the bracket itself, and there is rubber grommets on the side of these drive bays so that you can screw the hard drives in and not have them vibrate while they're installed. So you've got a lot of hard drive bays here, a total of 8 available right here. That will do either 2.5-inch or 3.5-inch, like I said. You've got 2, 3, or 5.25-inch drive bays up here that are both external, and they also do include a bracket so you can convert one of those to a 3.5-inch hidden drive bay if you'd like, so that you can, because you can take all of these hard drive bays out if you'd like, because this is designed to support water cooling. So there's lots of room in here for radiators and also really extended length graphics cards if you take the hard drive bays out. Up to 400 millimeters in length with the hard drive bays out, as well as 360 millimeters in length with the hard drive bays in. And also a CPU cooler height of 180 millimeters. So I do have a large air cooler in here just so you can see how much room this can handle for the CPU cooler. This is the Fantex Tower Cooler. It has 2 fans on it, obviously, and takes up quite a bit of room. There's still a lot of room here on the side panel to even put a bigger cooler in if you had to. This does have a stock 140 millimeter fan on the back side here, and also we have an extended power supply in here as well. This is the 980 Gaming G1 from Gigabyte that we have installed, and it is an X99 system. So there is a little button here on the bottom that is the release for the doors. If you push that, we can close that, and that locks that into place. We'll put this back on just so that you can get a feel for what this looks like all closed up. You do have to drop it on the hinges evenly for it to actually clip into place. This latches in, and then you also have a lock on this side panel so that to keep it closed and to also keep it locked. So if you didn't want people going in for your components, if you're in that kind of environment, I personally in my home, nobody's really going to do that, so I wouldn't lock it unless I was transporting it. If we look at the back side here real quick, you can see that you've got 3 rubber grommets here to run water cooling tubing through if you wanted to run it internally, externally out of the system. You've got your mounting bracket here for your power supply. You can put your power supply in either way. They have the whole setup so it works. You do have a bracket here for your PCI cards, your expansion cards, that is designed to hold them in place. I did not really like this bracket very much. I find that it's a little loose for what I'm like, but the cards themselves are screwed down with thumb screws, so it's really not affecting anything. It's kind of just a filler piece to fill it in and make it look nice. Not really a big deal, minor little thing for me. Not going to make me not use the case, that's for sure. You've got 8 expansion slots. I've actually got a dual slot video card in here and a discrete audio card as well. Just I like the discrete audio card better than the onboard typically, though the onboard of course is getting much better. We have our I/O shield slot in here with the board installed, and you've also got a couple clips here that you can put things on if you wanted to. The key for the side panel actually comes attached to the back of one of these when you pull it out of the box. The top of this case is also designed to be very flexible. The top mesh here actually comes off. You just push on the front a little bit and it pops off, and this is your filtering material for your fan. It is definitely a wide open airflow, and it has some foam behind it to help filter out the smaller particles. The top of it comes off completely. You just push up on this. Heavy piece of plastic, nice and sturdy, not going to break very easily on you. And you can see the stock 200mm fan at the top here. However, what you really do have support for is 120mm radiators all the way up to a 420mm radiator up in this top section. So that's really cool considering how much water cooling support you really have. This pops back on nicely. You just lay it back on the top here, push down on it, clips back into place. Again, nice and sturdy, so no real worries. This one, you clip the back in and then push the top back down, and it clips into place. One other thing, of course, you have filtering on the bottom here where your power supply is and where you might put an additional fan. Thumb screws for the back side of it. We'll pull those off. Pull this back panel. Nice and stiff back panel. The panel that's on the hinge is a little flexible, but again, nothing that I'm really going to be too concerned about because it doesn't really flex enough that I'm worried about it breaking. A lot of cable management options here. The one thing that I find missing is just a few more bump outs on the back of the motherboard tray to zip tie to. I actually ended up running some zip ties right through some of the rubber grommets to make some channels to hold the ties in place. So you do have these that run down the center that you can clip, just slide your cabling into. And you do have a rubber grommet at the top, which is really nice because you always end up seeming to run cables up through that top left corner on a lot of these motherboards. And you do have some space here behind your hard drives that you can put some cabling in, and these big slots here for running other things like tubing through if you were to be doing the water cooling setup. You do have a fan controller on the front panel that is high and low. This is the module right here for the fan controller. Just screws in, 2 screws. If you wanted to pull that out, you can definitely pull that out, but I don't see a reason to do it. It takes a single fan connector that does hook into a Molex power supply. Kind of wish it was a SATA connector because that's, right now for me, the only thing that I have a Molex 4-pin connector on. If it was a SATA connector, I could have eliminated one more wire from my power supply since it's modular. Then all your 3-prong fans plug right into this system here. The hard drive trays themselves have thumb screws all the way along the back here. You can pull all of those bays out to give you a nice wide open space to put more radiators in if you wanted to do liquid cooling. This again will support 420mm radiator in the front as well as a 360 millimeter radiator. And then on the bottom, if you didn't have your power supply there, of course, you have room for 280 millimeter and 240, 140, 120. And then on the back where you have that 140 millimeter stock fan, you can also put 120 millimeter or 140 millimeter there. So lots of definite flexibility for liquid cooling, a lot of flexibility if you wanted to just add lots of air cooling into the thing. You have plenty of places to mount fans, plenty of options for different size fans, and all depending on what you're looking to go with. Nice, sleek, clean, classic design, in my opinion. Cable management is good enough, though it definitely could work a little bit better if we just had a few more places to zip tie down to. The front panel is a nice brushed aluminum look here, and this pops open and it gives you access to your two 5 1/4 inch drive bays. So you got 5 1/4 inch drive installed. Actually, this just slides in, the filler piece pops out very easily, the drive slides in, and then you can put the two thumb screws in to mount it on the inside. And then this one here is the dual 5 1/4 inch, 3 1/2 inch bay that's external. So you can do either here, or you can just use it for a 3/4 inch hard drive and not take the blanks out if you wanted to. You've also got filtering here on the front. Comes out very easily, nice and easy to clean, fine enough to catch all that fine dust. Both of these pop out, little squares, great filters, great filtering system, nice and stiff, no need to worry about these breaking very easily on you, and the mesh is in there really good too, so even after washing it several times, I don't see it falling apart very easily. You've got the two 200 millimeter fans in the front there right behind this panel. This whole front panel does come off if you wanted to take it off to get access to install water cooling and things like that in the system. This does have a magnet on it too, which is nice, so that it holds itself closed. You're not going to find it popping out all the time. That was one of the things that annoyed me with some other cases that have these panels to hide your 5 1/4 inch drives. In some cases I ripped them right off because they would pop open on me and annoy me when I'm walking in and out of my office. Then of course we have our front panel up at the top here. So this is an unobtrusive front panel. I'm going to lean this forward so you can see what I'm talking about. You've got your power button here with an LED, a hard drive indicator LED, your reset button, and a high-low for your fan controller. You also have your microphone jack and a headphone jack, 4 USB 2.0 ports, so if you're plugging in headphones or things like that, mice, keyboards, usually you don't need the USB 3 speed. You only need USB 2. So they give you that for your front panel. So you're going to use two headers on the inside of your motherboard for USB 2.0. And then you also have two USB 3 slots. So the two USB 3 slots are great because when you want to plug in your high-speed external USB 3 external hard drive or flash drive, you definitely have that option. That's pretty much the Thermaltake Urban T81. The whole thing is designed to be flexible, large enough, and to work with your system. Whatever you want to install into it, you can pretty much. They of course have some of their even more monstrous cases available. The Core series that they have right now, that you can put more water cooling into and stack, and they're stackable and things like that if you wanted to go really extreme. But if you want to build a basic extreme system, that's pretty much what most of us do, I think. Like what I've got going on here, just with a nice large air cooler and an extreme processor on it. You're good to go and you're golden with this. You like the clean look, don't need a lot of flashy stuff. The T81 Urban is definitely something to keep in mind. Lots of cooling, lots of filtering. It'll keep your system clean. Anyways, that's the T81 Urban. Why don't you take a look at the benchmarks of what we saw. This isn't a 70-degree room that it was tested at, so bear that in mind when you're looking at the numbers.